Jim Norton is not a doctor. He's not an expert. He's not even a good person. The views, opinions, advice, and humor of Jim Norton does not reflect those of any doctor, of SiriusXM, of Opie Radio, or anyone else. They are solely those of Jim Norton, Lyle Chipperson, Edgar Mellencamp, Paul Hargis, and whoever else lives in that chinless head of his. If any of this advice goes wrong, you are the asshole who called a comedian instead of a doctor.
An icon in comedy, a fighter for freedoms, an accomplished entertainer, and a pervert. You've got problems, he's got problems. You've got questions, he's got answers, some of which are good. Call now, 866-WOW-1-WOW. That's 866-969-1969. This is the Jim Norton Show.
Hello. God damn it, I usually time that out right. Making my cappuccino, you can still hear it in the back of my espresso. I normally time that out, but it's still going. Fucking stupid slow machine. What a day I'm having. I'm in my new apartment, as I just tweeted. And so I'm sitting in the living room watching this documentary on Edward Snowden. And it's raining out. And for some reason, as you guys know, I've been sniveling about the windows, letting drafty air in. And I had a guy come over and look at it, and he helped adjust something. They still need to be fixed, but they're better. And so I always check them when it rains, just to make sure there's no issues. And I'm sitting in the living room, and I look over at the window, and I just see that it's like someone dumped a bucket of water in my house. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So I grab a towel, and I can see it's still leaking in. Then I go into my other room, which is facing the same direction. Because I'm up kind of high, so the wind is hitting me dead on. And I see that that's also flooding right by the electrical stuff. So, of course, I panic, put the towels down. It's a lot of water. And I call my super, and he comes up with a guy. And they open the one window in the living room, and they say the drains are a little clogged in the windows. These windows have a certain drain that go down, so they have to unclog the drain. So they do a little bit in the living room. It's not completely unclogged, but the flooding it's pretty much stopped leaking in the living room. But then in my room, in my other room, it's fucking, they can't get to the drains because I have stupid shades up there that stop the windows from opening, which I wasn't sure if I wanted to do. I'm like, what if I ever want to open the windows? Then like a dumb twat, I didn't listen to myself, and now I need to. You know, because there's fucking, water coming in my home, and I can't. So people are trying to help me, and a guy I called is getting someone over here. So hopefully within the hour, they'll take the shades down, because they're electric shades. So the super looked at it, and he didn't want to fuck with all the wiring. So then they can do that, and then the super can open my window and clean the drain. Hopefully that will stop. It's not flooding full out. I have towels down. It's like a slow leak like I tweeted. You can't even see that when I tweet. It's like a little trickle. But it's like, that's what my day is. I'm just happy I was here. Like, what if I was away? You guys know me. I like to go gallivanting. What if it was Saturday and I was in West Hampton? Or what if it was the week after and I was in Albuquerque or Salt Lake City? See, this is the beautiful lesson for all young comedians. When talking about your troubles, learn to prostitute yourself and promote your gigs. So I was able to kill two birds with one stone right there. So you guys can see I'm sitting, I tweeted the photo on a white like an outdoorsy green camping chair, which is horrible. And I have, my little water bottle in it. And I still am not finished unpacking, so I get everything on top of like these plastic bins. So that's where I'm at right now. And I'm going to have the super bring up those heaters. You know those big industrial heaters? They dry a rug when it gets wet. And I'm going to aim them by the windows just so no mold gets under there. That's all I need. All right. I'm chit-chatting a little too much here. It's not about me. Let's see here. Brock in Colorado.
Hey, Jim.
How are you?
I'm fine. Hey, I'm a big fan. I read both your books. You're hilarious.
Thank you.
Anyways, my question was going to be, I don't know, how much you do this in your personal life, but I seem to have a bad habit of taking political or social causes that really don't pay off in the long run. How would you go about determining what's a worthy cause to pursue?
Really hard question, man. I don't know. I guess it just has to hit you. I don't think there's any formula for that. Like, my friend's, Meredith had a sick son, so she asked me if I could tweet her GoFundMe. Like, little things. I get so many requests for that. I usually try to do it, and I wrote a little something about it. I don't know what to do, which ones are legit, which ones aren't legit. So I guess one of the ways to do is you want to make sure they're legitimate, and it should be something that you feel is close to you. Like, cause we all have to pick things. You can't just go out and fix everything. That's why I love when people say celebrities, they give a shit about cerebral palsy. What about Africans being raped? It's like, what do you mean? You don't think they care about that too? Like, you can only, like, if you're donating to one cause, like animal rights activists, people they don't give a fuck about people. Sure they do. But they just decided to help animals. Someone's got to. So that there's plenty of other people who will help people. So don't worry about fixing the whole world. Just find the one thing you think it would be most important to you to make a difference in. Realize that there's 1 million people donating to 1 million causes. Just pick the one you like or the one that it feels right. That's really the only way to do it.
Oh, thank you.
All right?
Thanks very much.
Good luck, fella. Jace in Iowa. Hi, Jace.
How you doing, Jimmy?
Good, buddy. How am I doing? Leaky windows. It's so funny. We think that there's trouble overseas in these third world countries. Try living with a leaky window. Sorry, Jace. Go ahead, my friend.
No, and I tweeted you about,
some guy, by the way, I tweeted, there's some funny people out there. I tweeted, it looks like my window is urinating. So some guy wrote back, lucky it isn't shitting, you'd never get to work. So there's some really mean, funny people out there. Go ahead, Jace. Sorry.
That's awesome. Okay. Basically, I have a friend who betrayed me like a year and a half ago, a friend that I grew up with. It was like a brother, and it was over something really stupid, but it was kind of like one of those, it was over softball. Like he said it was a complicated situation, but basically what I want to know is like, how far can someone go before you just say, you know what? I'm done with you, or else you forgive them. Do I forgive this guy because he's like a brother, or do I? I've gone months and months wondering about that. Like, do I actually forgive this guy, or do I? Because it was really sleazy.
What'd he do?
Well, he told me we were on this softball team together, and he told me that it was kind of a concocted story about that I didn't get along with this other guy on the team and that we both would have to not be on the team. And it was stupid. And I was like, dude, you're like my best friend here. Why would you, this is really petty. It was very petty. It was very stupid. And I was like, I knew there was like something else behind it. And I was like, okay, he has just gotten a new girlfriend. There new things had been going on in his life. And I was like, I knew that there's an ulterior motive,
What was it? He booted you out of the thing so he could hang with his girlfriend?
I don't know what it was, because I was like, dude, I tried to I was like, listen, if you think I'm gained some weight or whatever, if you think I suck, whatever, just tell me. And he's like, no.
Why would he care if you gained weight? Who gives a shit?
Because I know exactly. But I don't know. None of it made sense. But the whole point is, the guy, he was like my brother, Like I've known him my whole life. I grew up. We were next door neighbors. We grew up, and he just like shit on me like really bad. And I've talked to other people about this, and I'm like, why would a really close friend,
I get that,
betray you? It was over. See, okay, another guy on the team. His name was Johnny. He was kind of cheating with there's a lot of characters, because there's another guy.
Yeah, don't say any names. Here's the thing. None of that matters. Your friend did you dirty. Right. Now you don't know if you should forgive him. Here's the question: what do you want to do? Do you want to, or do you not? It's up to you.
Don't. I want to say, I feel like, in The Godfather with Michael Corleone, when he gets like stone cold, he's just like, he's going to kill everyone. Like, when I think of my friend or my ex-friend or whatever, I think of that. Like, how could you just totally went way over the line here. Like, you don't do that to someone who's like practically like family. Like, you don't do such a petty, stupid thing. And like I said, I've talked to other people about it, but it's just like, I don't get it. It's almost like, there's something wrong with him or something. Like, he doesn't have, like he's borderline sociopathic or something, like there's no conscience there or something. Like I'm really shaken up about it because it really, how it's like your brother. Like,
yeah.
It was more to it, than a stupid like softball thing.
So why don't you do this? Why don't you just not talk to him for a while and see how you feel? You don't have to make a decision right now, do you?
No, I don't. You're right. But it's been like, a year since it was February 2015. And
you haven't talked to him, and is he trying to get in touch with you?
No. And we ran into each other, and we just walked by each other. His girlfriend said hi to me, and I just said hi to her, and I didn't acknowledge him, and he didn't acknowledge me, but his face was like bright red, so I was kind of happy about that because part of me wanted to kill him. Like I'm just like I'm so mad, like I just wanted to punch him, but it's just I don't know. It's really like I don't. Well,
you kind of dude. You kind of answered your own question.
Okay.
You really don't want to forgive him, so you guys just fell apart. It happens. I got to run because we got a lot of calls.
Okay,
but the point is this: forgiveness is great, but it's not always necessary for you to hang out with the person. Like you don't want to carry around the anger you feel for that person. Like sometimes I'll do that. Like I'll be mad at something, and I'm just thinking about this person, and meanwhile they're ruining my day, and they're not even around me. So that's stupid. But no one says you have to hang out with the guy either. Maybe you could forgive him and then still stay away from him. All right? But who cares? He sounds like a dick, so fuck him. Who cares if you grew up with him? Fuck him.
That's what I need to hear. Good. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Let's see here. Engaged to a guy with a crazy long last name. Hi, Colleen.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I tried to call you a couple weeks ago about this, but I think you were too busy. But it has escalated to an even worse problem.
Okay.
So my fiance is cool. He wanted to drop his mom's last name anyway.
Okay.
He's like a crazy active alcoholic, like full-blown manipulation. And I grew up, both my parents are sober, so I grew up kind of in AA and in Al-Anon, stuff like that. So I know a lot of like the behaviors, and I know a lot of it's the behaviors that are related to the disease and not necessarily the person.
Oh, so his mom is the drunk. Okay.
Full-blown active drunk, yeah. So she did the feminist thing and gave him a hyphenated last name. So he's had it his whole life, and it's like 7 syllables. It's really long.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So he wants to drop her part of the last name for himself, and then also for when we get married, so I don't have to have it. We don't have to have big, long, hyphenated kids.
Okay.
So he's been talking about it for a while, but he told her for the first time 2 days ago. And she, like, absolutely lost her shit, like, crying, like, you're disavowing my whole family. If you do this over my dead body, will you drop that part of the name? And, like, I don't even know how to handle it because I don't want to build up horrible resentments towards my mother-in-law because I know a lot of it is her active addiction, and
sure.
That's why she's behaving that way. And I've brought him to Al-Anon, so I think he's kind of starting to understand it, but I don't know how to. I need to, like, find him somebody else to talk to so that I don't resent his mother, and I don't know how we're going to go about it without. I just don't know, Jilly. I just don't.
You know what it is? It's weird. It's like it's one of those things where. Once again, an alcoholic making it about themselves.
Totally.
And narcissists do this too. It's all the same thing. They just can't see anything other than how it affects them. And their narcissism is a constant source of enragement. And everyone around them sees it and hates them for it, but they don't see it. So this is just what she does. You know, she's not doing it on purpose. She's not saying, hey, this is what he wants because it's a long name and it's easier for the kids. She's going, oh my God, me.
Right.
And I don't think you should have to live your life.
She ignored his phone calls all day yesterday. And
she's being manipulative and she's sulking. Fuck her. Look. You're not doing anything wrong by the two of you. I just don't want to hate her.
How do I not hate
her? How you don't hate her is that she probably, if given a choice,
Right.
If she could make a choice to handle it better, she'd probably handle it better.
Right.
You know, she's just a narcissist and an alcoholic and doesn't realize she's handling it badly. To her, she's being perfectly reasonable and rational. People just play the victim. And when they do that, they're hateable, and it's hard not to resent them. Yeah. But when you have to realize, like, wow, let me learn from that person. Let me learn what it looks like to be such a self-absorbed asshole. Yeah. So, but I think that you guys should do what you want to do. You're not offending, you know, too bad if she doesn't like it. You can't live your life and the kid's life. But as far as resenting her all the time, hey, look, she's probably doing the best she can. She's just an asshole, and that's nothing to do with you, okay?
Thanks, Jimmy.
Bye-bye. And Bob in Texas is a very important call. And Bob, I will take the criticism. Hello, sir.
Hey, thanks, Jim. So we watch Sling Blade on the regular, and we're going through it with the closed captions on. And when he comes to the scene that you always say, Randy, you tuning son of a bitch.
Right.
He says tooting, which I think is so much more fucking funny because he's yelling at Randy for farting in his house. So
you know, that's really funny, and I never caught that, you tooting son of a bitch.
You tooting son of a bitch.
Wait, had Randy farted in his house?
No, I would assume so, but we don't get to see that.
Well, let me say, I would rather look at the script because the closed captioning is wrong sometimes. They're not always right, and they may have heard it wrong, or you may be right. Either way, Randy may overtune the guitar. I have to see the scene again.
Well, I'll do a little homework and report back, Jim.
Do me a favor. You should look up tooting as a definition and see if it has any implications about music. Like, is it an expression guitarists will use when one guitarist is sucking? Hey, quit tooting, you know?
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jim.
Okay. Goodbye. Right. Let's see here. I don't know about this. Sean in New York. Hello, Sean.
Hey, Jimmy, how's it going, man?
How are you?
I'm doing all right. So, I'm newly married. Well, it's been 2 years now since we first got married, right? And I always get the, hey, there's crumbs on the counter. Why didn't you throw this dish in the dishwasher and all that crap? And, it's something that she wants me to work on, right? Yes. And my response to that was, well, hey, we have sex once every 2 months. How do we pick that up a little bit? I think I approached it from a wrong angle. How would you have handled it?
That's a rough way. I understand that. You never want to use sex as a bargaining thing. I notice I didn't say chip. But, I know what you mean. Hey, look, you're not fucking me, so the crumbs are going to stay on the table. You don't want to make a sex a thing with her because then she'll realize, oh, this is a bargaining thing. But I understand why. You'd be like, fuck you. You're not throwing any drawers my way. What do you want me to do? That's a frustrating one. You might want to talk about that a little bit nicer. If you want to have sex, even though you're probably right and she should be coughing up the puss, you're obviously a man of means who's well endowed. She should be coughing up the skirt to you. But I do think you want to approach that not in an argument because you never want to fight about sex and have arguments about sex because you say shit you can't take back.
Gotcha. No, that's true, man. That's
all right. Good luck, sir. We didn't hang up on you, buddy. We get disconnected. Okay, let's see here. Ron in Wyoming. Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. Jim, I've been going out with this gal for about a month, and this Friday we're going to hook up.
Oh, good.
And this is going to be our fuck date. So, she's really good looking. She's professional, but she's a little timid, and I want to go down on her. Love to eat pussy, but I don't want to fuck this relationship up, so do I just do it, or do I ask her first?
No, you never ask. May I lick your pussy? You can't ever say that. Pardon me, madam. Yeah, you should do it. Ask in the Grey Poupon commercial voice. Would you mind if I licked your pussy? No, or you do it could you please pass the jelly, the polymer all fruit, whatever the fuck that shit product was. I didn't care for it. It may have been a good product. I don't want to get sued by the jelly people. You know what, dude? You just do it. Here's what you do. You kiss her, you work your way down the nips, you work your way down the torso, and when you get to the box, just kiss her stomach. And if she goes, no, stop. Say, I'm just kissing your stomach a little bit, kissing your legs. Work your way down to it. Just tease it a little bit. Mwah. Make loud kissy noises. Mwah. No, don't do that. But work your way down, but don't ask. Do not say, pardon me, may I lick your pussy? That's a tremendous turnoff.
Okay.
Okay?
I didn't know if we should discuss it or just give her hell.
Yeah, just go down there and enjoy it. But don't be offended if she says no at first. Realize it may be because somebody licked her when she didn't want them to, or whatever the fuck reason it is. But you'll eventually wear her down. But, don't go crazy if she says no right away.
Right on. You're my hero, Jim. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, sir. As I should be. I'm a heroic man. Michael in New York. Hello, Michael.
Hey, Jimmy. How are you, man?
Good, bud.
So here's the situation. So I've been going to massage parlors, the rub and tug joints, and, it's all fine and good. But it eventually became, like full sex. And I feel guilty about it, but it's great. I really enjoy going, so I'm trying to balance out that equation.
Yeah, I mean, I felt guilty for different reasons as well when I've done stuff like that. Sometimes because I'm like, hey, are they prostituting for the wrong reasons? Or I don't know. Like, I have my fears of hurting someone else and also my fears of doing something bad to myself. Sometimes it does feel good because it's wrong too. So you're saying you're trying to balance that stuff out. Part of the problem may be that it feels good because it's fucked up. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons. A lot of times I like things that are wrong, or I like things that are inappropriate. So I tend to thrive on them. So
yeah, I hear what you're saying there. I don't know if that's the direction that I'm coming from. I think it's.
You think you just like it?
I think I just enjoy having sex with somebody else and really no strings attached. It's just afterwards I'm like, oh God, what if she's a sex slave? What if she was forced into this sort of situation? And it's just like that kind of internal guilt that I feel is goes up against the feeling that, well, shit, but it really did feel good.
Well, I know, but that's like when you eat chocolate, that you have the same conflict. I mean, not that it's a sex slave, but this tastes really good, but then the other side is this going to make me a fat fuck. So it's like there's a lot of times with things that feel good, there's some kind of a penalty to pay, whether it's the other person paying it or whether it is you paying it, but there's some other price to pay. So you have to decide what's worth more, your peace of mind or the load you're going to blow. Do you know what I mean? Like the sex slave thing is a big deal too, man. That's one that's really bothered me at times, and it's really upsetting to think about that. So I have really stopped doing that for that reason. I haven't really I've talked about slowing down and stuff like that, and I've gotten a few massages, but I have not gone to girls on those sites for that reason. It's really started to freak me out, and the idea of doing that just makes me too bummed.
Right. No, I hear you. And I don't know. I guess I need to be with it for a bit, like you say, and make that decision.
Yeah, because again, dude, eventually something bad's going to happen. You're going to get caught, or you're going to get arrested, or you're going to catch something, or there's going to be a pimp involved. Like, something is going to happen, okay?
Yeah, I hear you, buddy.
All right, well, good luck, and just jerk off watching porn. It's easier.
Fair enough.
All right, take care. And by the way, as we're talking and as I'm broadcasting, two guys have come and they're going to take down my shades now. So now it stopped raining here in New York. So the shades are going to come down, and then once they come down, my Super King come up and open the windows and fix the drains. So hopefully this fucking onslaught of water will stop, even though I have towels down. All right, I'm babbling. Let's see here. Ron in New Hampshire. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, man?
Got some mother-in-law issues. I don't know if you know much about mother-in-laws or not, but
I've never had one, but isn't it amazing? I've had a lot of girlfriends whose parents hated my guts. Isn't it amazing how the fucking mother-in-law jokes that comedians have been doing for centuries, there really is truth in it. It's very rarely an overbearing father-in-law. It's usually the overbearing mother-in-law. Like, she puts her nose in everybody's business and she just won't stop.
yeah, the father-in-law, he's pretty easy to get along with. It's the mother-in-law that, I don't know if it's narcissism or she just, we don't drink, we don't do drugs, we're pretty good parents, and we just can never please her. And we moved from St. Petersburg to New Hampshire, and she followed us. She couldn't get
did.
Now
she followed you. Why? Because she wanted to she wanted to live with you.
No, she wanted to be with the grandkids. She said she couldn't live apart from the grandkids.
Yeah, that's a big thing for them. My parents were going to retire to North Carolina, but then my sister had a baby, and they were like, well, they wanted to stay, but they don't live with my sister. So what do you do? Does your wife know that her mom's kind of an annoying twat, or no?
Yeah, that's the thing is I'll watch them get into these arguments, and and I tend to side with my wife.
Yeah, of course.
But it's like I sit there and I listen to these arguments and the kind of mind games that the mother-in-law plays with her daughter, my wife, and I just sit there and I don't say anything because I know if I say something...
Yeah, there's no way you can jump in that. Let them fucking duke it out. Or just point at the mother-in-law and go, look, sometimes I want to take your side, and then point at your wife and go, but that's the one who fucks me. Sometimes you got to be firm in front of both of the ladies. But yeah, I mean, look, if your wife's duking it out with a mother, you're not going to do any good by jumping in there and getting your stupid face in the middle of it. It's only going to be a problem.
Yeah, we're all, we're toying with the idea of, we moved to New Hampshire to kind of get some space, and she followed us, which is fine. But it's like, it's now that she still wants to do things for us with the kids, but then it's held over our head. So I'm of the mind of less is more. The less she sees the kids, the less she can hang things over our heads, like, oh, I did this, I did that.
Well, don't forget, though, for them it's probably good to see their grandmother, too, unless she's a shitty, horrible person.
No, she's great with them.
Okay, well, then it's probably good for them, so you guys may have to tolerate Nana being a nudge, as opposed to the kids not seeing their mother. How many of them are, because all my grandparents are dead. So is that the only one that they have?
Well, there's my side of the family, which is still in Florida, but they're not moving up. So
yeah, let them interact with their grandmother. Even though she's annoying, maybe there's a way for you to talk to your wife about it, or just try to get along with the old bag. Nobody likes the fucking mother-in-law. No, very rarely do people call up, unless you've had a threesome with your mother-in-law and she fucking blew you while your wife was eating your ass. Then you have a great mother-in-law story. But if that hasn't happened, no one has good mother-in-law stories. They aggravate everyone. But as long as she's nice to your kids, hey, look, they got a nice grandmother, so she's good at that. So that's the important thing, is that the kids are kind of happy. And look, she's a built-in babysitter who isn't going to molest them. That's a good thing, too. You got a babysitter that probably isn't going to beat them and isn't going to cause a problem.
Yeah, that's also, you said, the built-in babysitter, and we use her for work because I don't want, like you say, I don't want to send them somewhere where I don't know. So when we have to go to work, she watches the kids, and that's where a lot of the resentment starts coming in, is she says, she's doing too much time babysitting, and she really wants to have things on her term. If she was calling us saying, hey, I want the kids, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, she moved up there. She's probably fucking lonely too, man. Old people get lonely. That's why they get irritating, because they just want to stand there and look at you and be a part of whatever you're doing, and it gets aggravating very fast. It's one of those things is, you just you gotta kind of deal with it. But, hey, look, ask her to babysit less or keep the kids away from her for a little while. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta do that if someone's being annoying. Like, just hold back a little bit, then she'll be like, oh, I miss the kids. Okay, I'll shut the fuck up. That's what I would suggest. Hold the kids out in front of you angrily, screaming at the old lady, and threaten her. Threaten to hang them over a balcony like Michael Jackson and threaten to drop them if she doesn't stop.
Yeah, there you go.
Sometimes you gotta make your point, all right?
All righty, man. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
Chris in New Jersey.
What's up?
Hey, bud. What's going on?
Not much. I had a comment about the previous call. I just turned you on. I never called, radio stations. I just listened. But here's the thing. This guy, he said he feels bad afterwards because he thinks it's a sex slave thing. Let me tell you something. The only reason
Sorry, man. Go ahead.
The only reason why anybody should feel bad after the fact is if they're in a committed relationship, because technically it's cheating, but it's not cheating. Other than that, damn well going into it that you're either gonna, you know the situation. So I don't know, man. I'm calling him out. That's a cop out.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'll tell you why. I know what you mean. Like, he might be feeling bad because you know that a hooker is okay. You say she's making her own decision, And that's how I always justified it. But there are times when you'll hear cases of people who really were forced into it, or it was a desperate situation.
Yeah.
So this guy is having the same dilemma I've had at times, which is like they seem like they're okay with it, and we talk afterwards, and they seem totally like anybody else doing something that they're comfortable doing. But then there's that nagging thing like, fuck, man, am I really preying on somebody? Like, and like predators don't give a shit about that. I'm a dirty guy. I'm not a predator. And that's what that guy's probably like. You know, what I mean? Being a predator doesn't turn me on. It doesn't turn me on to victimize a person. But some people like that shit.
I do agree with you there. It's just for me, you know, like going into a situation, I weigh out all the options. And I agree 100%. If they're forced into it or anything like that, I will never know. And I would feel bad if I ever found out. But in my situations, you know, I've been to a few places in my past, and I realize everything like that. But if I'm going to put myself in that situation, I obviously got over it before I walked in the door. That's just where I'm coming from. You know, I
sometimes there's times though when you do things like when I was drinking again as a young teenager, I would steal from my family. Or I would sell things. Like I sold a lot of comic books and stuff to drink, even at a young age. And then you feel guilty about that because you hurt yourself, but then you feel guilty that you stole from your family, even though you did it. Or how many guys are really doing bad drugs and stealing from their businesses and their companies just to keep this addiction going? So maybe this guy is hooked on this new feeling of fucking strangers, and so the addiction kind of keeps you going. But then after you come, everything comes back to normal. So a lot of times you don't feel guilty when you walk in the door. You feel guilty when you're walking out the door when you got fucking a load on your shoes. That's when you feel guilty.
You know what, man? Just put some stuff in perspective. 2 years ago, I went to a rehab for doing hard drugs, and after I cleaned up and I was in that program, I had received a letter from my parents because I stole the stuff, you know, just wanted to get the money. And you're totally right, man. It's a whole different, clear mind thought, and it destroyed me on the inside. And thank God I was in a safe place to get through that. So I guess, you know what? I guess I take it back. I got heated when I heard that. I was like, you know, I got you, man. All right, dude. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, man. Call again, okay?
All right, Jim. Thanks.
All right, buddy. Take care. Let's see here. Number Kyle in California.
Hey, Jim. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How you doing?
Hey, man. I am dealing with a huge, big life dilemma of last year I started my own production company, and it's growing and going really, really, really well. And it's kind of the first time in my life where I've had something like this.
Sure.
And this July, the middle of July, I have this huge weekend lined up where, you know, it's just awesome and great. And it's also the same day as my sister's wedding in another state.
What do you have lined up? That's awesome and great? That's the date. I'm sorry. Or can you not say?
I do live events, live concerts, and I have two big shows on one day and then another show on another day that are just it's a big move, a lot of moving parts.
I understand because there's so many times I've had things in my personal life come up, or I have a show somewhere, or I have a gig. Now, I've always chosen work first. A sister's wedding is a little different, so you might want to do that. I'm not saying I've always made the right decision. I'm just saying I've always chosen work first. But I've probably missed out on some nice, irreplaceable times too. So, what do you really want to do?
Honestly, I'm so torn. I've dissected this thing down to a molecular level. You know, I don't know what to do here. It is really, do I do what's best for me, or do I do best for my family?
What is your family, how understanding is your family going to be? And would you lose a lot of money by not going? Because people do have to work, dude. There's a lot of times people will miss a wedding because they have to work. With a sister's a big one or something like that. I mean, will your family understand or not? Will they be fucked up about it?
My family's so about it. They're being very nice about it. They're being very hey, we'll miss you if you can't make it, but we understand, and they're very cool about it. But, you know, you can kind of tell, you know, that they would like me to be there.
Well, yeah, you want to be there, but I want to be there.
I want to be there, but at the same time, I've invested a lot of money and a lot of time into this company, and this is my big kind of Super Bowl weekend.
Well, then if you got it, let me ask you a question. If a guy was a professional baseball player, how many professional baseball players have you heard couldn't make it because their sister was getting married?
That's fair.
How many times have you heard, hey, LeBron can't play because his aunt is getting married? And a medical emergency is one thing, but those people work. You know what I mean? Usually you can get off if you put enough time, but there's no professional athletes that take off for their sister's wedding. So, you know what I mean? Maybe look at it like that. That was kind of always how I looked at it.
That's fair.
So, just go and work if you have to, okay?
Thank you, Jim. You're the man. I really appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate your call. Good luck.
All right, boss.
Bye. Hi, Melissa in New York.
Oh.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Okay.
can.
Okay, so here's my dilemma, and I'm not really looking for advice per se, but I want to know if you think that I missed my window. So long story short, I was molested as a kid by my older brother, and I never told my family. And within the past 5 years, my brother had a traumatic brain injury, and now he is pretty much comatose. And my parents are still taking care of him, and I just had my first child, and I feel like I have all this resentment, and I just don't want to put it on her. So I kind of want to tell my family what happened, but I don't know if I missed my window because now it's not like I can really confront my brother.
Oh, wait a minute. Your brother is the one who did it.
My brother's the one who did it, yeah.
How old is he and how old were you?
It started when I was like 5 and he was 15. He was 10 years older than me.
Oh, wow. There's nothing innocent about that.
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you now?
I'm 31.
All right. So 26 years. So he's 40. He's 41. Will he ever recover?
No.
Can he understand anything you're saying to him or no?
Sometimes I think he can, but I can't tell. He had a massive heart attack and a massive stroke and lost oxygen to his brain for over 3 minutes. So I don't really know if he's crying on cue or if he's just crying it's just there. Or there's certain things that I feel like he's there sometimes, but most of the time he just stares at the ceiling and there's nothing there. So I don't really know what he knows.
Have you ever told him what you just told me while he's in that state?
No.
How long did it go on for?
For at least 5 or 6 years that I can remember.
Okay. So this was okay. Yeah, this is horrible.
I've blocked things out, and I don't know. I just don't want to put those emotions on my daughter. You know what I mean? Because I can't get over it myself. Obviously, 26 years later, it's still bothering me. I just don't know if I should tell my parents to just get it off my chest, or what I should do, or did I miss my window?
I don't think there's any missing the window. Look what's happening to Africa Bambaataa because all these kids, people who are 50 are coming out and saying, yeah, he molested me 25, 30 years ago. There's no window of where it's going to be easy. I don't know if this is right or not. But this is something he did for a long time, so I wouldn't worry about how he feels about it. But if you sat there with him alone and just told him that it bothered you and it hurt you that he did that, I don't mean yell at the guy. If he's got a traumatic brain injury, you don't want to threaten him or scream at him. But if you just talk to him calmly and go, look, that really hurt me that you did that, and it messed me up a little bit, without, again, realizing the situation the person is in that you're talking to, and let him hear it. And if he can hear you, he can hear you. But if he can't, he can't. I would try therapy first because I don't know what the deal is with whether to tell the parents or not. Because again, you're like, why burden them with it when there's nothing you can do about it? It's not going to help anything, and it might affect the way they take care of him. But then again, you're their daughter, so why shouldn't you? I don't think you're wrong either way. If you want to tell them, I don't think you're wrong to tell them. But if you don't want to tell them and you want to tell a therapist, I don't think you're wrong to do that either. But I would just make sure that you talk to a therapist so you don't pick it out on your kids.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thanks so much, Jimmy.
Yeah, okay. Good luck. Call me back and let me know how that works out. I'm really curious. And again, if you sit there and tell a guy with a traumatic brain injury while he's staring up at the ceiling, just because he's hurt, it doesn't mean you have no right to say something to him. Because again, he did something for 5 or 6 years when he was 15. He knew better. This wasn't a 7-year-old touching an 8-year-old once. This is like a legit fucking beef you have. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And I just, I feel like, why am I still the victim? I'm still holding this with me all of these years later. I just want to get it off my chest.
Right, and that might be part of it. And the fact that I just referred to being molested as having a beef with him shows you what a true asshole I am. I'm a fool. You called a fool, Melissa. All right.
I love you, Jimmy. Thank you so much.
All right, sweetheart. Good luck. Let me know what's going on with that when it works out, okay? All right.
I will. Thanks so much. Bye.
All right. Hello, Saga. Ooh, I like that name. Saga.
Thank you very much.
Thaja, what do you have, wisdom or something? Fucking home run Chipperson, even in the flooding rain. What's up, sweetheart?
So this morning, it seems like you did not believe Mark Norman's story ultimately, especially at the end when it turned out he, too, had destroyed the tape because of some legal action. And you even went like, wait a second, the police came. So I'd like to hear what you have to say about that.
You know, it's funny. I didn't, when he first said it, I did think of Tucker Max. But then he's like, he knows who the guy is, but he's like, I really have never read his books. I didn't know what to believe. Like, to be real honest, I don't care either way. Like, what happens is, for me, if I'm listening to something on the radio, like, we do put a lot of emphasis on truth and stuff like that, but I don't give a shit if it's a true story or not. Like, he may be in the point where, like, no, I really did just have a crazy story that I exaggerated a little bit to be funny. You know, because we do exaggerate to be funny. That's what, you know, jokes are a lot of times. And even though we try to do a radio show where we speak honestly and in our own voices, you know, there's times where you're going to exaggerate to be funny. Or did he make the whole thing up? I don't know, right. And I like Mark either way, so I don't care.
And his stick is kind of that he has sex stories all the time, too.
Yeah, and I think he does, and he may twist them a little bit to be funny. And I'm not questioning his integrity by saying that, because I think he's a really funny comedian. I think he's really funny on the show. And ultimately, that's what you're supposed to do. I don't feel like I've ever spoken to Mark about something in seriousness and not know whether to believe him or not. And I think that's what sometimes people should look at. Like, if I'm having a serious discussion with you, I'm going, no, this is exactly what it is for real, and I'm lying to you, then I'm kind of fucked up. But if I'm doing something as a joke story and I'm exaggerating it, who cares? But then again, when he got called out, if it's bullshit, he should have admitted it. And again, I'm not saying it is, because Colin actually, when Colin got caught, he just admitted it. Like, even Colin Quinn at times, for whatever reason, we all have done it. Patrice did. We've all exaggerated or bullshitted for the sake of the joke or the story. But I don't know what the answer to your question is. It's a good question. And I don't really care if he's telling the truth or not, but he's sticking to it. So I'm going to have to, just because he's my friend, go, look, maybe he has a story similar to what Tucker Max said. Because I'll tell you what, Tucker Max lost me. It wasn't that he said he was fucking a girl in the ass and that, you know, she puked because his dick smelled like like vomit or shit or whatever. It was only because of all the puking and then the guy falling out of the closet. That was what lost us in the story. You know what I mean? Like, a couple of those things. Tape. What's that? And the missing tape. But Opie pointed out today, and he was right. He should have just said that, fuck it, he had the tape, because who cares? We weren't going to watch it. We were sitting there. We were in a studio.
Right.
So, I don't know. He may have exaggerated that a little bit to be funny. And then it's always like when you're pushed into a corner, you don't want to come out and go, well, yeah, of course, I'm a comic, so I've been saying it like that on stage, so I just told the story like that. Then you're kind of caught in a lie. Like, what do I do?
Right.
So he may have had that situation, but, you know, whatever. Who cares? He's funny.
Yeah.
He's a really funny dude, and he's got a mean humor. So, you know, Mark's a good egg.
I really just wanted to call and talk about anal with you, Jim.
What do you want to know? That's what we should be talking about, anal. What's going on?
No, I'm just kidding.
Shit. Bye-bye.
That's my stick. Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay. Let's see here. Hello, Josh in Florida.
Hey, Jimmy.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good.
Well, I'm a former college football player. For years and years and years, coaches had me, you know, got to gain weight, get muscle, all this stuff. And my last year of playing, had a catastrophic knee injury and broke my lower back in one play. Well, that affected how I could work out and stuff, and I was still eating the same. Gained about 100 pounds. And I'm having weight loss surgery to correct it, to help my appetite, stuff like that.
Good for you.
But I'm having a real issue with going into surgery, because my feeling is I went away for college. When I had this catastrophic accident, I woke up in a hospital with no loved ones around, pretty scared, honestly. Didn't know really what had happened. I passed out when everything had happened. And I'm just going into the hospital to get the surgery is my big issue.
So you're not scared. It's not the weight loss lifestyle. It's going into the actual physical act of being under the knife.
Yeah, I for years I'm 6'6", and at my playing weight I was 315, and I had about 10% body fat.
Okay.
And I worked out 4 times a day, went to practice twice a day, all sorts of stuff. The weight loss lifestyle is not the problem. It's going under the knife.
Right. Well, again, it's a scary thing. It's always scary to have to go under and get surgery. But think of it this way. On your way to the hospital, you're probably statistically more likely to die in a car accident than you are having surgery from a real professional. We live lives that have danger in them every day. And you're not taking a reckless chance. It's not like Joan Rivers, poor Joan Rivers died just getting a little bit of, but again, even for her, she felt like she needed it for her job, I'm sure. She felt like that was necessary, but that was not life-saving surgery. What you're doing is going to improve your quality of life. It's going to change your life for the better. Look at my buddy No Filter Paul. He's lost like 100 pounds. He looks great. So say it's a risk you're assuming because the payoff is going to be life-changing. I went under the knife for sinus surgery. You can tell my sinuses are still bad, but they are better than they were. And that you're risking your life when you do that. But it was worth it to me. You know what I mean? You have to assess why you're doing it. You're not doing it because you're a vain idiot. You're doing it because you want to be healthier and realize that they have these surgeries down and the odds are exponentially in your favor that you're going to be fine afterwards.
Yeah. From years and years of just eating and stuff like that to going under the knife, you just worry that, did I do something to my body that when they get in there...
Are you sure that's what you're afraid of? Are you sure that when you look at it deep down, that's not the food addicted part of you screaming at you to have a reason not to go through with it?
Okay. I eat it's when I'm hungry, honestly, and because these coaches force so much... I was eating so much protein, steak after steak after egg after egg after egg, that my stomach is just the size of a football. I can't fill myself up. I'm never satisfied, honestly. My wife laughs because I get 2 entrees at dinner when we go out to dinner, and I'm still hungry.
Yeah. But is it only physical, or are you addicted to it as well? You know what I mean? There's a mental thing there too. It's not just physical.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That very well could be it. But I do believe it's kind of my scare of the hospital, because nothing ever good. Whenever you get called to the hospital, it's never anything good.
Rarely, but it could be, hey, so-and-so woke up. But the idea of not going to the hospital is worse. You know what's even worse than going to the hospital? When they fucking put a white sheet over you in the middle of the road. That's worse. So going to the hospital is a luxury of the 21st century and the 20th century. No one likes going to the hospital. Watch Game of Thrones. They would have loved to have gone to a modern hospital. We are so lucky to have the level of care.
I never thought of it that way.
Any other time in history, they would have loved nothing more than to spend time in what we call a hospital, because they didn't have it. So the fact that we have it gives us a shot, and it doesn't always work out. But it's great that you're going to do it, and don't let your fear talk you out of it. So, all right?
Yep. Well, I hope to catch you when you're down here in Orlando.
All right. Well, if you live through this, let's hope so.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, see you later. All right, bye-bye. Justin in Arkansas has an interesting point. I only have 3 minutes. What's up, Justin?
Hey, man, how's it going?
I'm good, pal. How are you?
I'm good. I was actually in Oklahoma for a while with my parents.
Oh, it's my favorite musical. Oh, sorry.
And my parents got their 20th vows renewed, and my boss wouldn't let me off work. I didn't really care to go, but I wanted to go, kind of thing, and I didn't end up going, and I really hate myself for that. I know a sister's a little different than parents, but it's something you don't want to miss, man, I promise.
Why'd you hate yourself?
It's one of those things that I'd like to have seen, and I chose work over it.
Oh, okay, well, you chose. Yeah, I mean, look, it's hard.
It's pros and cons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you with that one. I might regret it too. You only do have one sister. You only have one. The gigs do come and go, but
exactly.
I don't know. I guess it all depends on how close the guy is to his sister.
Yeah.
You know,
money's important. Like, I'm in sales, and you don't work, you don't make money, but it's worth going.
All right.
That's just my 2 cents on it.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Have a good one, man.
Bye-bye. And thank you to Jesse on Twitter who went to IMDb. Doyle, get out. Y'all get out. Get the fuck out. Come on, you motherfuckers. And in parentheses, nobody moves. Doyle, get the fuck out. Randy, you tuning son of a bitch. Go fucking... And then there's something that cuts off. Randy. So it is tuning. It's not tooting. You tooting son of a bitch. Real quick here, Michael in Rhode Island. What's up, buddy? We got to wrap up. We have a bunch of phone calls.
Timmy, what's going on?
Hi, pal.
Hey, good. Hey, I'm getting into this wicked fetish with these videos on YouPorn. It's a series on there called The Joy of Spec. And it's these girls. And what they do is they have glasses on. And they first talk about, when they first started wearing glasses and, how their vision is. And they're kind of like average, ordinary-looking girls.
Sure.
And I can't stop watching these videos.
You know what it is, dude?
Attractive girls.
You like the realism of it. And I think that's really an attractive thing in porn, like when it sounds like something that could really happen. Because we've seen enough. Pizza's here, ding dong, that never happens. But who knows? You go, your eyes are bad, you gotta get them checked. It's a turn on to see somebody in a real life situation then behave pornographically. So yeah, I get that. That's not that unhealthy a thing to look at. What the fuck? Enjoy it.
Yeah, I do. And they masturbate. Some kids they actually squirt. And some, these girls are really hardcore into their masturbation.
That's great.
Like I love seeing one after another, and I think they hit on something there because I would never have thought in my lifetime I would be looking at something with fetishing it, really turning me on.
Yeah, well, you like the realism. I bet if it was something else too, like a dentist or whatever, you might enjoy it, or something else. Maybe not an oncologist. That's not sexy. We found a lump. Maybe that's a bad medical scenario. But something else, foot doctor. Let me examine your feet. Next thing you know, the guy's jizzing on her arches. All right, I digress. I have to wrap up. I'm sorry to all the people who are still on the phones. Thank you for the call, buddy. I appreciate it. And I need to have a phrase at the end. Like, Dr. Laura would say, go take on the day. I need to have some kind of a phrase to wrap up my advice show. How about live until living isn't what it should have been? Who knows?
Thanks for listening to The Jim Norton Show. Hear all that advice whenever you want to on demand at SiriusXM.com/on-demand. On SiriusXM is real.